Hey everyone, and welcome to the deep dive. We're going to explore something pretty amazing today.
Yeah.
The world of gardening.
Right?
And this is a big but,
Right.
we're not just talking about
The basics?
yeah, how to grow tomatoes or, how to...
Pick the perfect roses.
Exactly. We're going way deeper than that.
Okay, I like it.
We're going to look at how gardening can actually make you a more peaceful and a more well person.
Interesting.
So we've got all kinds of cool stuff lined up for you today.
Like what?
Practical advice.
Okay.
Especially if you're just starting out,
Mm-hmm.
we've got some really inspiring stories of people
Oh, cool.
whose lives have been totally changed by gardening.
Love that.
And the science.
Ooh, the research.
The research. You know I love the research.
Gotta have it.
We're going to break down the science behind why gardening is so good for you.
I'm excited.
Me too. So get ready to learn why getting your hands dirty is, well...
Good for you. Well, it's so interesting to see how gardening is changing.
Oh, yeah? How so?
It's becoming like a real therapeutic thing.
Oh, wow.
It's not just a hobby anymore.
Right.
It's about like really improving your health.
Both mental and physical.
Exactly.
Okay, so let's dig in, right? I mean, we all know that
Yeah.
being out in the garden just feels good.
Right, like it's relaxing.
Totally. But we're going deeper than just feelings today, right?
Absolutely.
What does the research say about how gardening affects us, like mind and body?
So the research is really clear on this.
Okay.
Gardening has been shown to,
Wrap.
reduce those stress hormones,
Mhm.
improve your mood, boost your self-esteem.
Wow, that's a lot.
It is. And even, gets you moving more.
Oh, good point.
And it's not just about feeling good. It's like
Yeah.
measurable, real impact on your well-being.
I can definitely relate to that.
Yeah.
I always feel so calm after I've been in the garden.
Mm-hmm. Me too.
Like all the stress from the day just disappears.
It's like magic, almost.
It is. But is it really that simple?
That's the thing. There's a lot more to it.
Oh, really?
Studies show that gardening actually lowers your cortisol levels.
Cortisol, that's the...
Stress hormone.
Right.
It's not just in your head.
So there's a real physical response happening.
Exactly.
Wow, that's pretty amazing.
It is.
So it's like science is backing up that feeling of peace we get from being in the dirt.
100%.
I love that.
You too.
Okay, what about the mood boosting thing?
Oh, yeah. People talk about that all the time.
They do.
Is that like a real thing too?
Like scientifically proven.
Yeah.
You bet it is.
Really?
Gardening releases endorphins.
Endorphins. Those are
They feel good chemicals.
Right. Like runner's high.
Exactly. They boost your mood.
And they can even help with pain.
Interesting.
Yeah. And that's why some people are looking at gardening as like,
Like a therapy.
yes, a therapy for people with depression and anxiety.
Wow, so it's like a natural antidepressant.
You could say that.
That's amazing.
Hmm.
I've heard people say that gardening is like meditation.
Oh, interesting.
Is there any truth to that?
It's funny you should say that because all those repetitive tasks in gardening,
Like weeding and watering?
yeah, those can actually get you into a meditative state.
Really?
It's about focusing on the present moment,
I see.
feeling the soil, smelling the flowers.
Right.
It's very sensory,
Mm-hmm.
and that helps to quiet the mind.
Okay, so it's not just being in nature. It's the actual act of gardening that helps.
That's the idea.
That's so cool.
It is. And let's not forget the physical part.
Oh, yeah. Gardening is definitely a workout.
You're using muscles,
Mm-hmm.
you're getting your heart rate up,
It's a full body thing,
and you're getting fresh air and sunshine.
which is so important.
Vitamin D.
Yes. I am always trying to get more vitamin D.
It's good for your bones,
Yeah.
your immune system,
Oh, yeah.
even your mood.
I did know that.
It's true. And it's good for your joints,
Oh, interesting. Cool.
especially if you have arthritis.
I see.
Plus, you get that feeling of accomplishment.
Oh, yeah, totally.
You're taking care of these plants,
Oh,
watching them grow,
it's really satisfying.
And it can really boost your self-esteem.
It's true. There's something magical about seeing a tiny seedling turn into a plant.
It is magical.
And knowing you helped make that happen.
You're a part of it.
It makes you feel connected to nature
Absolutely.
and the cycle of life.
That's a beautiful thing.
It is. I've also heard that gardening can help you connect with other people.
Oh, yeah.
What's that all about?
Community gardens are amazing for that.
What are they like?
People come together,
Yeah?
share their love of gardening.
Mm,
They help each other out, share tools, give advice,
that's awesome.
and they build real friendships.
So it's not just about the plants.
No, it's about the community.
That's so cool.
It can make a big difference in people's lives.
For anyone listening who might be thinking, I don't have a backyard.
Right. Apartment dwellers, what about them?
Exactly.
I can't garden.
You don't need a huge backyard to garden.
Oh, really?
You can grow herbs on a windowsill.
Okay.
You can have a container garden on a balcony.
That's a good idea.
Or you can join a community garden.
That's perfect. There's always a way.
There is. And you don't need to be an expert to start.
That's good to know.
There's so much help out there.
Like what?
Books, websites, local gardening
So
groups.
you don't have to figure it all out on your own.
Nope. And actually, maybe we can go over some basics right now.
Oh, yeah, let's do it.
First things first,
Yeah.
picking the right spot for your garden.
Okay, what do we need to consider?
How much sunlight the area gets,
Okay, that makes sense.
drainage,
Right.
and how easy it is to get to for watering.
Good points.
And then, the fun part,
Choosing the plants.
yes. Think about your climate,
Mm-hmm.
how much space you have,
Yeah.
and what you want to grow.
I love that part. Flowers, herbs, veggies.
So many options. Exciting.
And don't be afraid to experiment.
Good advice.
Start small.
Right.
Learn as you go.
You get there.
You will.
Now, while we're on the topic of getting started, let's talk about sustainability.
Oh, that's so important.
I know you're passionate about that.
I am. Sustainable gardening is about
Yeah.
making choices that are good for you and the environment.
It's like working with nature.
Exactly. Not against it.
I love that.
And it's not as hard as you might think.
So good.
A lot of sustainable practices are actually really simple.
Like what? Give me some examples.
Okay, so one easy thing is to go organic.
Okay.
That means no harsh chemicals,
Right.
pesticides, fertilizers, things like
Oh,
that.
man, important.
Those chemicals can harm beneficial insects.
Oh, I
They
see.
can pollute the water,
Yeah.
and they can even damage the soil.
Okay, no chemicals. Got it.
Another big one is conserving water.
That's so important these days.
It is. You can use drip irrigation
Okay.
or even collect rainwater.
That's a good idea.
It can make a big difference.
It can. What about composting?
Ah, composting.
I've always been a little intimidated by it.
I get it.
Is it hard to do?
Not at all.
Really?
It's a fantastic way to recycle
Okay.
and create amazing soil for your garden.
And how do I do it?
You can get a compost bin
Okay.
or just make a pile in your yard.
That's easy enough.
You need a mix of brown stuff,
Like what?
dried leaves, twigs,
Okay.
and green stuff.
Like grass clippings?
Exactly. And kitchen scraps.
Okay, that doesn't sound so scary.
It's really not. And another thing you can do is
Yes.
choose native plants.
Native plants, what are those?
Plants that are naturally found in your area.
Okay.
They're adapted to the climate.
So they're easier to grow?
Exactly.
Yeah.
They need less water.
Mm-hmm.
They're tougher against pests and diseases.
Oh, that's good.
And they provide food and shelter for local wildlife.
Wow. So many benefits.
It's a win-win.
It is. So we've talked about how gardening can reduce stress, boost your mood,
Mm-hmm.
get you moving, help you connect with people,
Yes.
and even help the planet.
It's amazing.
It is. But it's also incredibly creative.
Oh, absolutely.
You get to design your own little world.
Your own oasis.
Exactly. It's like being an artist.
With a living canvas.
I love that. And the possibilities are endless.
Truly. You can make it your own.
It's so personal.
It is. And it's for everyone.
Oh, yeah, I was just going to say,
All ages can enjoy gardening.
from kids to seniors.
Absolutely. And you can adapt it to different needs.
Like how?
You can use raised beds if
Yeah.
you have trouble bending down. You
Yeah.
can do container gardening if
Yeah.
you have limited space.
Good point.
And community gardens are great for everyone.
Yeah, they really are.
It's wonderful to see people of all ages coming together to garden.
Okay, we've covered a lot here.
We have.
From the science behind gardening
Mm-hmm.
to practical tips for getting started.
It's a lot to take in.
It is. But I want to dive even deeper into some specific areas.
Ooh, I like where this is going.
Let's start with aromatherapy gardens.
Interesting.
I'm so fascinated by how scent can affect our mood.
Me too.
So how can we create a garden that engages all our senses?
Aromatherapy gardens are all about that.
Tell me more.
You choose plants with specific scents
Like what?
to create a space that makes you feel relaxed or
Okay.
happy or even helps you focus.
I'm imagining a garden full of lavender and roses,
Those are classics.
but I'm sure there are other options.
Oh yeah, tons.
Like what?
Lavender is a great choice for calming and relaxation.
Makes sense.
People have been using it for centuries to help them sleep
Wow, that's interesting.
and to reduce anxiety.
I can see why.
Roses are also wonderful, as you said.
For their scent.
Yes. And they symbolize love and romance.
That's so sweet.
But there are so many other plants with amazing aromatherapy benefits.
Really, give me some examples.
Okay, so rosemary.
Okay, I love rosemary.
It's known to improve memory and concentration.
Oh, I need some of that.
Chamomile is great for relaxation and sleep,
That's good to know.
and peppermint can help with headaches.
Wow. And nausea, too.
Yes. It's pretty amazing.
So it's like creating your own personalized aromatherapy blend.
Right in your backyard.
I love that.
Yeah.
And you don't have to just enjoy the scents in the garden, right? You can use those herbs for other things.
Exactly. Make teas,
Oh, yeah. I love herbal tea.
potpourri, all sorts of DIY projects.
That's so cool. It's like you're bringing the garden inside.
It's a way to extend the sensory experience.
I love it. But aromatherapy is just one aspect of how gardening affects our emotions, right?
Right. There's so much more to it.
I've heard people talk about using gardening to deal with grief
It can be really helpful for that.
or to find comfort during hard times
It's a way to connect with life.
and to express their creativity.
Absolutely. Gardening can be a very personal and healing experience.
It's fascinating how something as simple as planting a seed can have such a deep impact on us emotionally.
It speaks to our connection with nature.
It really does.
Yeah.
And now, thanks to science,
The research.
we're starting to understand why nature is so good for us.
Exactly.
So what has science discovered about nature's healing power?
Well, there's a growing body of research
Okay.
showing that spending time in nature has huge benefits
Like what?
for both your mental and physical health.
Okay, tell me more.
Studies have shown that even a few minutes in nature can
Uh-huh.
lower your stress levels,
Really?
reduce your blood pressure,
Wow,
and improve your mood.
that's incredible.
It is. And it's not just about seeing green.
Okay,
It's about engaging all your senses.
I see.
Feeling the breeze, hearing the birds, smelling the flowers.
It's like a full-body experience.
It is. And that calms your nervous system.
So it's not just a feeling. There's actually a physical change happening.
Exactly.
It makes you wonder why we spend so much time indoors.
Right. Stuck in our little boxes.
Totally.
Yeah.
So what can we do about it?
Well, gardening's a great way to connect with nature.
For sure.
But even if you don't have a garden,
Yeah.
you can still bring nature into your life.
Like how?
Go for a walk in the park,
Okay.
spend time in a community garden.
Good idea.
Even just having some house plants can help.
That's easy enough.
It's about finding those little ways to reconnect
I love that.
and reaping the benefits for your health,
It's a good reminder that nature is all around us,
even in the city.
even in the city. We just have to make an effort to find it.
Absolutely. Now, here's a question.
Okay, I'm listening.
Is there a difference between just being in nature
Mm-hmm.
and actively gardening?
Oh, interesting question.
Like, does gardening give you something extra?
Yeah, I see what you mean.
Something you wouldn't get from just taking a walk in the woods?
Right.
Researchers are still figuring that out.
Okay.
But some studies suggest that there might be unique benefits to gardening.
Oh, like what?
One theory is that it's about nurturing.
Nurturing the plants.
Exactly. Taking care of them, watching them grow. That can
Yeah.
give you a sense of responsibility,
Okay,
purpose, even accomplishment.
I can see that.
And that can be really good for your well-being.
That makes a lot of sense.
It's like we have this natural instinct to connect with nature
Mm.
and to create something beautiful and alive.
And that's incredibly satisfying.
It is. And it's not just about the end result.
Yeah.
You know, the beautiful flowers or the delicious vegetables.
It's about the process.
Yes. The journey of...
The ups and
Yeah,
downs.
Exactly. The challenges, the triumphs.
The learning along the way.
And the connection you build with nature.
That's what makes it so special.
It is.
So as we wrap up this part of our deep dive,
Okay.
what's the one thing you want our listeners to take away?
I want them to understand that gardening is more than just a hobby.
Huh.
It's a path to a better life.
I like that.
A way to heal, to be creative, to connect.
Connect with nature, with ourselves, with other people.
Exactly. And it's for everyone.
I love that message.
Me too.
So listeners, get ready to dig in.
We're just getting started with this exploration of gardening.
In our next segment, we'll be diving deeper into the science
Oh yeah, the research.
and looking at some incredible stories of how gardening has changed people's lives.
Stay tuned.
It's going to be good.
It is. So, before the break, we were talking about nature and stress,
Mm-hmm.
how being in nature can really lower your stress levels.
Right.
But we didn't get into the why of it.
Yeah, the science behind it.
Exactly. What is it about nature that has that effect?
That's what I'm really curious about.
Yeah.
I mean, it seems almost too good to be true.
I know, right?
Like, just being in the garden can actually change our hormones.
It really can.
Wild.
So remember cortisol.
The stress hormone.
That's the one. Well, research shows that even short periods of time in nature
Right.
can significantly lower your cortisol.
Really? Even just a few minutes.
That's what the research suggests.
Wonderful.
And the thing is, high cortisol over a long period.
And like chronic stress.
Exactly. It's linked to all sorts of health problems.
Oh, I know.
Heart disease,
Hmm.
anxiety, depression.
So it's really important to manage our stress.
It is.
Yeah.
And nature can be a big help there.
I remember reading about a study
Oh, yeah.
where they actually measured people's cortisol levels
Mm-hmm.
before and after being in a forest.
What did they find?
The results were pretty amazing.
I bet.
The people who spent time in the forest
Yeah.
had much lower cortisol afterward.
That's so cool compared to the people who, like, stayed in the city.
Exactly. And it wasn't just a temporary thing.
Oh, so the effects lasted.
For hours.
Yeah.
It's like nature has this power to reset our stress response.
It's like a natural chill pill.
I love that. It makes me wonder if nature affects our brains in other ways too.
Well, there's this theory
Okay.
called attention restoration theory.
Interesting name.
It basically says that being in nature helps to, like,
To what?
to restore our attention span.
Okay. I can see that.
Think about it.
Mm-hmm.
In our everyday lives, we're constantly bombarded with stuff.
Oh, yeah, totally.
Screens, noise, information.
It's overwhelming.
It is. Our brains are working overtime just to keep up.
I feel that.
But when we're in nature,
Yeah.
those demands are gone.
It's quieter, calmer.
Exactly. We can relax our focus.
Right.
Let our minds wander.
It's like giving our brains a break.
It is a chance to recharge.
That explains why I always feel so much more clear-headed after being in the garden.
Me too. Like a mental fog has lifted.
Exactly. And speaking of mental health,
Yeah.
we talked about ecotherapy earlier.
Right, using nature to improve well-being.
What exactly is that?
So ecotherapy is this growing field
Okay.
that uses nature-based activities
Okay.
to help people's mental and physical health.
I like that.
The idea is that humans are naturally connected to nature,
Makes sense.
and that connection is good for us.
And gardening fits into that.
Perfectly.
Yeah.
Because it gives you a hands-on way to connect with nature.
Right. You're not just looking at it. You're interacting with it.
Exactly. You're nurturing life.
I love that.
And you're getting all those therapeutic benefits of being outdoors.
It's like a win-win-win.
It is. And more healthcare professionals are realizing this.
Really?
They're incorporating gardening into their treatment plans.
Wow, that's amazing.
It's helping people with anxiety, depression,
Mm-hmm.
even PTSD and addiction recovery.
It's so inspiring to see nature being recognized as a legitimate healing tool.
I agree. It's not just some fringe idea.
Yeah. The science is backing it up.
Exactly. And another cool thing is how gardening brings people together.
The community aspect.
Yes. We talked about community gardens before.
Yeah, those sound amazing.
They really are. They create a sense of community.
How so?
People from all walks of life come together.
Right.
They share their love of gardening. They exchange knowledge and resources.
Yeah, like a support system.
Exactly. And they
Yeah.
build relationships.
I bet that's really valuable, especially these days.
It is. With social isolation being such a problem.
It's like those community gardens create these little pockets of connection,
They do. They bring people together
and they create a sense of belonging.
and a sense of purpose.
Yeah, I can see that.
It's a beautiful thing to see.
It is. And speaking of beauty,
Ooh, yes. The artistic side of gardening.
designing a garden is so creative.
It's like creating a living work of art.
I love that analogy.
Yeah.
And the best part is,
What's that?
there are no rules.
No right or wrong answers.
You can just let your creativity flow.
It's all about personal expression.
Do you want a colorful cottage garden?
Oh, I love those.
Me too. Or maybe a Zen garden.
Very peaceful.
What's your choice?
The possibilities are endless.
I love that. And you know what else I find fascinating?
What's that?
The symbolism of flowers.
Oh, yeah. Flowers have so much meaning.
They do. Like red roses?
For love and passion.
Exactly. Or lilies.
For purity and innocence.
Like a whole secret language.
It is. The language of flowers.
And you can use that language in your garden.
To tell a story, to evoke a feeling.
It's like creating a garden with hidden meanings.
I love that idea. And speaking of hidden,
Yeah.
have you heard about the trend of creating secret gardens?
Secret gardens?
Yeah, little hidden oases tucked away in your backyard.
Ooh, that sounds magical.
It is. It's about creating a sense of mystery.
An enchantment.
Exactly. A place where you can escape.
Your own little sanctuary?
It can be as simple or as elaborate as you want.
Like a hidden patio with some potted plants.
Or a whole grotto with a fountain.
Yeah, that's taking it to the next level.
It's all about creating a space that feels special.
And you can even create secret gardens indoors.
You can. It's about finding that little bit of magic.
Love that idea. It reminds me of another trend I've seen.
Oh, yeah. What's that?
Incorporating edible plants into ornamental gardens,
Oh, yeah, I love that.
like mixing herbs and vegetables with flowers.
It's beautiful and functional.
It is. You get beauty in food.
Exactly. It's a feast for the eyes and the stomach.
And it speaks to that whole sustainability thing.
Oh, for sure.
People wanting to grow their own food.
It's empowering to know you can provide for yourself.
And it's healthier
Fresher, more nutritious.
and better for the planet.
It's a win-win-win.
It is. And it's a great way to teach kids about where food comes from.
I agree. Get them involved in the garden.
It's a great learning experience.
It is.
You know, we've talked a lot about the individual benefits of gardening, but I'm curious about the bigger picture.
The societal impact.
Exactly. Like, how is gardening being used to address things like food insecurity
Oh, that's a big one.
and to promote healthy eating habits?
Especially in communities that need it most.
Right.
Well, community gardens are playing a huge role there.
How so?
They provide access to fresh, healthy food.
In areas where it might be scarce or expensive.
Exactly. And they empower people to grow their own food.
It's like taking control of your own food source.
It is creating a more sustainable and just food system.
I love that.
But it's not just about the food. Oh, there's more. Community gardens also become centers for education,
Okay.
skill sharing, even cultural exchange.
It's like they bring people together,
They do, from different backgrounds, different generations,
creating a sense of community.
and belonging. It's
Yeah.
really powerful.
It's so inspiring to see how these gardens are transforming communities,
It's like they're creating a better world.
one garden at a time.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it brings us to a really important point.
Okay, I'm listening.
Gardening isn't just about individual well-being.
There's a bigger picture.
It's about creating a better world for everyone.
A healthier world, a more sustainable world, a more beautiful world.
Absolutely. It's about recognizing that we're all connected,
To each other, to nature.
the whole planet.
Gardening reminds us of that connection.
And it gives us a way to make a difference.
It's empowering, isn't it?
It is. To know that we can create positive change.
Even in our own little backyards.
Exactly. And that brings me to my question for you.
Okay, shoot.
Out of everything we've talked about, what's resonating with you the most?
I'm honestly blown away by all this. Like, I knew gardening was cool, but I had no idea how powerful it really is.
It's pretty amazing.
It is. Like, it can change our lives
Absolutely.
and even change the world.
It really can.
I'm feeling super inspired to, like, get out there and get my hands dirty.
That's the spirit.
And it doesn't have to be a huge project, right?
Nope, not at all.
Even just a few pots on my balcony.
That's a great place to start.
I think I can handle that.
You can. Just take that first step.
I'm ready. You know, what really gets me is how gardening is helping people.
In so many ways.
Yeah, we talked about community gardens, but I was reading about programs that use gardening as therapy
Oh, yeah, I've heard about those.
for veterans with PTSD
It can be incredibly healing for them.
and for people recovering from addiction,
It gives them a sense of purpose.
and even for inmates in prisons.
It's amazing how gardening can transform lives.
It really is. Like, it's tapping into this, like, universal healing power, the power of nature.
Exactly. And it's not just about humans, right?
Nope. Sustainable gardening is good for the whole planet.
Tell me more about that. So, by choosing organic methods,
Okay.
conserving water,
Mm-hmm.
and encouraging biodiversity,
Biodiversity. What's happening?
having lots of different plants and animals,
Oh, I see.
we're actually helping to fight climate change.
Wow, that's huge.
It is. And it creates a healthier environment for everyone.
It's like we have a responsibility to take care of the planet
We do. And gardening is a way to do that.
and those small actions.
Even just planting a few trees.
Or starting a compost bin.
They can make a difference.
It's empowering to know that we can make a positive impact.
It is. And gardening is such a tangible way to do that.
You can actually see the results.
And taste them, too, if you're growing food.
That's a good point.
Eh,
It all comes back to that connection.
Connection to nature.
Connection to each other.
Connection to ourselves.
Gardening helps us to nurture those connections.
And to create something beautiful and meaningful.
I think that's what I love most about it.
Me too.
It's not just about the plants. It's about growing as people.
Becoming more mindful.
More compassionate.
Are connected.
And more in tune with the natural world.
It's a beautiful thing.
It really is. Well, I think we've covered a lot of ground today.
We have, from the practical to the philosophical.
And everything in between.
It's been a great conversation.
I've learned so much.
Me too. I hope our listeners are feeling inspired.
To get out there and start gardening.
Yes. No matter how big or small your space is.
There's a way for everyone to experience the magic of gardening.
Absolutely. And who knows?
Well,
Maybe you'll discover a hidden talent.
or a newfound passion.
Or even just a moment of peace and joy.
I love that. So listeners, what are you waiting for?
Get out there and get your hands dirty.
Happy gardening, everyone.
And thanks for joining us on the deep dive